Hey, everybody. Coach Curtis Fallon here. Hope you're having an awesome Monday like I am. And today I want to talk to coaches, specifically business coaches, who keep adjusting their price downward. And they were wondering why more clients aren't saying, yes, I lowered my prices. Why isn't everybody buying? Because the price is almost never the real problem. Okay? What actually happening is something I've watched cost coaches tens of thousands of dollars over 26 years I've been a coach and training coaches. You lowered your price against last month because someone said it's too high. So you lowered it, right? You're like, oh, maybe that's too much, right? So now you're charging $1,200 and working twice as hard for half the income that you really need to be efficient and effective as a coach. So the coach who just booked a $4,500 client this morning has fewer years of experience than you. Now, the difference is not what they know, it's what they show. Okay? Like I said, I've been doing this over 26 years. One of the most painful and most fixable patterns that I see very talented coaches competing on price, right? Because they haven't yet learned how to compete on proof, right? So today I'm going to show you exactly what I mean and exactly how to change it, all right? So I want to tell you about Priya. Okay, so Priya, she'd been coaching for 2 years. When she came to me, she had a handful of clients who absolutely loved her, right? She had one testimonial that said, Priya is amazing on her website, right? She had a bio that said she helped entrepreneurs grow their business. And she was charging $900 a month. She had started at $1,500 and had dropped the price twice after prospects told her that it wasn't in their budget, right? So she told me she felt like she was always being compared to coaches that had a larger audience, right? Like that was in her mind. That this is what she thought. It's not what she was told. Okay, we come up with our own stories. So her story was, they're going to those larger audience. Those larger famous coaches can charge that kind of money. I can't do that, right? Um, you know, they have bigger audiences. They have more testimonials, right? That kind of stuff. And she couldn't win that comparison, right? She'd started to believe she needs to build her audience for another year before she could charge what she actually needed, okay? Now, I asked her to tell me about her best client result. She described a business client, okay? She had worked with for 7 months, okay? When they started, the client was generating about $3,200 a month in profit in their business with no consistent pipeline, and was considering going back to corporate, right? When they finished, the client was at $9,400 a month, right? $9,400 a month with a waiting list, okay? And had just turned down a full-time job offer, right? So I said, Priya, that result's worth more than any audience size, right? But right now, it's invisible, right? No one sees that. No one knows that, right? It's inside your memory instead of in front of every prospect who evaluates you, all right? So we spent 2 sessions building what I call a proof stack, right? Now, we documented the result in specific, vivid detail. We wrote the before story, right? We wrote the transformation in specific numbers. We captured a quote from the client about the moment the work changed for her. What was that moment, that shift, that aha moment, that breakthrough? That's the key, really, okay? Because that's what people are really looking for. They're looking for the turnaround, right? So we built a short video testimonial. We put it on our website. We built a reel, like a Facebook reel around it, right? We referenced it in every discovery call she did after that, okay? Within 6 weeks, Priya had raised her price to $3,200 a month. Okay, higher than previously. So, her very next discovery call, a prospect who had just watched that transformation reel said, almost verbatim, okay, I feel like I'm exactly where your client was when she started. Can we start next week? Right? Same coach, same niche, same years of experience. Dramatically different conversation result. The only change was that her best proof was no longer invisible. Okay? So that's how, I always tell business coaches, and this is what I do. I show, I don't tell, right? So when I do an assessment on a business, we literally look into their business. I have software that helps us find profit and revenue in a business without them spending additional money. But, I show, I don't tell, okay? In this day and age, you got to prove yourself before the client hires you, okay? So anyways, so here's how to build a proof stack that lets you command premium prices before you have a large audience, okay? So a proof stack is simply a collection of your best client results, okay? And if you only have one, you only have one. If you have 10, you have 10, right? If you have 20, you have 20, all right? Documented in specific and vivid detail, okay? Built in multiple formats so prospects can encounter it wherever they find you, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, what have you, okay? Step one is the result interview. Okay, so you want to reach out to 2 or 3 of your best coaching clients, right? The ones whose results were most dramatic, like, the ones that just stand out when you think right now, like so-and-so had a great result, this business had a great result. Ask them for a 20-minute conversation, okay? Now, in that conversation, you're going to ask them 4 specific questions, okay? So it's almost like an interview. So where were you when you started, right? Not your general situation. What was your specific monthly revenue when we started? Your specific biggest fear in getting started, or about your business of where you were at, your specific sense of what your business felt like in that moment. Like, what were you feeling? What were you going through before we talked, before we get started, right? Because you really need to uncover where your clients are, your ideal clients, the ones that get the best results, because those are your clients, right? And that's going to attract those people going through that situation, right? They're here, you want to get them here. We need to find out, we need to tell the story of here to attract more. So what was the turning point, right? When was the turning point inside the work we did? Was there a specific session? Usually the client says, yes, I remember the exact session. Right? Like any coaching calls I've done for myself with my coaches, I can remember, like, oh yeah, on that specific call, everything else changed, right? Maybe it was a specific insight you had, a specific thing that you implemented that changed the whole trajectory of your business, right? So you got to figure that out. Specificity is key, right? Where are you now? Same specificity, right? Specific monthly revenue. Specific client count now, or where exactly is your business, specific way your work feels now versus how it felt before. Okay, so where are you now? We already talked about where you were. Where are you now? Very specifically, how much are you bringing in revenue wise, profit wise? What's your lead flow like, or client count now, right? Or whatever, customer base, whatever it is, right? And the specific way your work, right, your daily work feels now versus how it felt before. Because like I know for my clients, right, my business owner clients, I want to help them build a business they could sell in 3 to 5 years, right? But they probably don't want to because they just enjoy it so much. That typically isn't where they are right now, okay? So what would you say to someone, so this is the other question, so what would you say to someone who's where you were when you started? Like, what advice would you give? So like somebody's like where you were when you started, what would you say to them, right? So anyways, step 2 is the format build, So take the answers from that interview and build 4 pieces. A written case study for your website. Now, you don't have to do this with your clients. Just get their story, and then you go create this, right? So a written case study for your website and for DM messaging, right? During your sales conversations. Don't just send that to everybody, okay? A reel or short video. Some clients might even be open to doing a video interview, okay? Letting you record that on Zoom or what have you, okay? But it needs to be built around one specific moment in the transformation story, right? Like the aha moment, okay? A screenshot or quote featuring the most powerful sentence the client said, right? And a 1-sentence reference line for your bio, okay? Now, step 3 is the everywhere deployment, okay? Put one element of your proof stack in every piece of content for the next 30 days and see what happens, right? Reference a client result in your Monday post, quote a client in your Wednesday reel, just work it in there. Don't just like send one thing, right? Just work it into your content. Anchor your discovery call offer to a specific transformation you've already produced for a client. Include that in your sales calls, right? Your discovery calls, or whatever you call them, right? Minor business assessments, where I show them the money and simply just ask them, would you like my help getting this money, right? It's not made up numbers. We actually look through their business. I have software developed that does all that work for me now. Used to have to do it all by hand. It was a nightmare. So when your best proof is everywhere, a prospect can see you, right? Now I see you, right? You stop being compared to other coaches with big audiences. You're compared now to the result that is documented, okay? And documented results command the prices you deserve. This is one thing I failed to mention. So the way I price my coaching and the way you should probably price your coaching is not what you think a client will pay you. It should be 10 to 30% of the return on investment your clients get, right? So if you help your clients add $100,000 for their business, your fee should be 10 to 30% of that, right? Because they would not have that $100,000 without your help, right? They would stay where they're at. So if that's average return on investment you get for your clients, then it should be that. If it's not, you can't command $10,000 to $30,000 as a coach. You shouldn't. And listening to these people on the internet telling you that's just not right. Okay, it's just not going to work. All right, you got to show a return on investment, and that's what I do. I show my clients the return on investment before they even hire me, and then I just want this little piece of it, just a little bit to help you. Okay, just a little teeny tiny bit on a graph. There's actually a graph. I'll do that one day. I'll show everybody, but it literally shows like here's the bar graph, and I just want a little teeny tiny piece from it, right? Anyways, so. A lot of times I work with, I'll work with a business owner, and that will be my coaching fee. It'll be based on the results I get my clients. That's when you're really good, right? When you can trust yourself that you're going to help this client. Now, most coaches don't do that. They just charge up front, right, for the year or whatever, and then good luck. Right? So if you've been lowering your price when you should have been raising your proof, I want to help you change that this week, all right? This month, I should say. Comment workshop. And my team will send you a registration link for my upcoming free training on building to 20K plus a month as a business coach. All right, we'll cover the complete process of how to do that, and you can determine if and what you need in that process. All right, or comment or DM me session, and we'll schedule a personal hit 20K plus strategy call where I will literally look at where you're at. We'll talk about what you need, what you don't need, and put together a solid plan. You'll leave that call with a very actionable plan, okay? Or comment or DM me book, and I'll send you a book for business coaches that teach you a lot of these templates and scripts and strategies to hit 20K plus a month. So comment workshop, session, book right now. The premium price is available to you. Your proof just needs to be visible. And as one of my mentors, Robert Hollis, actually trademarked the term, documentation beats conversation. Robert Hollis actually trademarked that. So anyone using that, they owe Robert Hollis money, okay? So I owe Robert Hollis money. No, he doesn't. He's a really generous man. But documentation beats conversation, right? Coaches for years have all been about blah, 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 conversation. You want to prove to a client what you can do before they hire you. Okay, one of the ways to do that is to look at their business and show them what's going on. Where is the profit leaking? And if we fix those leaks, this is how much profit you should be making, right? Without spending any additional money on marketing or advertising. You're already spending money there. You're just not making enough profit. You're not making enough return. And there's certain things that need to be done in certain ways. You can't just increase leads or sales. You could put a business out of business. Things like more sales could lead to higher costs, which reduces your profit and puts you out of business. A lot of these things business owners don't realize until it's too late. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you for watching. If you like these lives I'm doing or any content I put out, please like, comment, or share that someone could benefit from this. If there's something else that as a business coach or business owner that would help you, shoot me a message or comment below and I'll create content around that for you. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Make it an awesome day and I'll see you soon.